John Brewster Hattendorf, D.Phil, D.Litt, L.H.D. FRHistS, is an American naval historian. He is the author, co-author, editor, or co-editor of more than 40 books on British and American maritime history and naval warfare. In 2005, the U.S. Naval Institute Proceedings described him as one of the most widely known and well-respected naval historians in the world. Quote, in reference to his work on the history of naval strategy, an academic in Britain termed him the doyen of U.S. naval educators. Since 1984, he has been the Ernest J. King Professor of Maritime History at the United States Naval War College in Newport, Rhode Island. He has called maritime history a subject that touches on both the greatest moments of the human spirit as well as on the worst, including war. Quote, in 2011, the Naval War College announced the establishment of the Hattendorf Prize for Distinguished Original Research in Maritime History, named for him. The 2014 Oxford Naval Conference, Strategy and the Sea, celebrated his distinguished career on 10 to 12 April 2014. The proceedings of the conference were published as a Festschrift. Family, education, and early life. Hattendorf was born and raised in the village of Western Springs, Illinois. He is a ninth-grade grandson of Elder William Brewster of the Plymouth colony. His interest in the ships and the sea stemmed from summers spent at his family cottage at Portage Point, Michigan, where he was a sailing instructor on Portage Lake from 1958 to 1964. After graduating in the class of 1960 from Lyons Township High School in LaGrange, Illinois, he earned his bachelor's degree in history in 1964 from Kenyon College, where he was inspired by Charles Richardson and Richard G. Salomon. In 1970, he graduated from the Frank C. Munson Institute of American Maritime History at Mystic Seaport, where he studied under Robert G. Albion and Benjamin W. Laborie. He earned his master's degree in history from Brown University in 1971, completing his thesis under the tutelage of A. Hunter Dupree on the history of strategic thinking and wargaming at the Naval War College. In 1979, he completed his doctorate at Pembroke College, Oxford, with a thesis on English grand strategy in the War of the Spanish Succession, 1702–12, supervised by N.H. Gibbs and complemented by studies under Ranhild Hatton, Sir Michael Howard and Piers Macassey. Naval career. After graduation from Kenyon College, he served his country in uniform for 8 years during the Vietnam War period. As a naval officer, he served on board U.S. O'Brien, earning a commendation from the Commander, United States 7th Fleet, for outstanding performance of duty during combat operations in April 1967. Later, he served at sea in U.S. Purdy and U.S. Fisk. While in the U.S. Navy, Hattendorf also served ashore at the Naval History Division, Office of the Chief of Naval Operations, in Washington, D.C., in 1967–69, where he was first trained in naval history under Rear Admiral Ernest M. Eller and Dr. William J. Morgan, and at the Naval War College in 1972–73, where he served as speechwriter and research assistant to Vice Admiral Stansfield Turner and also taught in the college's Strategy and Policy Department. Civilian academic career. Hattendorf has spent most of his civilian academic career at the United States Naval War College, returning there as a civilian faculty member in 1977. He taught strategy and policy for a number of years. From 1988 to 2003, he directed the United States Naval War College's Advanced Research Department. In 2003, Hattendorf became the first chairman of the Naval War College's newly established Maritime History Department, where he oversees its research section and is the director of the Naval War College Museum. He has identified 4 primary audiences for the U.S. Navy's maritime history programs: sailors, Navy leaders, government policymakers, and the American people. As a civilian scholar, he has been visiting professor of history at the National University of Singapore and at the German Armed Forces Military History Research Office, a senior associate member of St. Antony's College, Oxford, and a visiting fellow at Pembroke College, Oxford. He has been an adjunct professor at the Frank C. Munson Institute of American Maritime History since 1990 and served as its director from 1996 to 2001. He served on the Secretary of the Navy's Advisory Subcommittee on Naval History from 2004 through 2008, serving as chairman, 2006 to 2008. He was a member of the Board of Advisors to the Canadian Forces College at Toronto. For 4 years from 2003 through 2007, Hattendorf served as president of the North American Society for Oceanic History and, in that role, headed the U.S. delegation to the International Commission for Maritime History. He served as one of the Commission's vice presidents 2005 to 2009. He is a Fellow of the Royal Historical Society and has served as a member of Council and Vice President of the Hacklight Society, and was the founding president of the American Friends of the Hacklight Society. He has been a member of Council of the Navy Records Society. Since 1989, he has been co-chair of the Publications Committee of the Newport Historical Society and since 2005, historian of Trinity Church, Newport, Rhode Island, and a member of the Board of Scholars for the Museum of the American Revolution. Awards. Kenyon College awarded him an honorary doctorate in 1997. In 1998, Lyons Township High School named him to its Alumni Hall of Fame. The National Maritime Museum, Greenwich, awarded him its Caird Medal in 2000 for his contributions to the field of maritime history. In 2003, the North American Society for Oceanic History presented him its Gay Jack Bauer Award for service to maritime history. In 2009, he received the Department of the Navy Superior Civilian Service Award for his work as chairman, Secretary of the Navy's Advisory Subcommittee on Naval History, 2006 to 2008. In addition, the U.S. Constitution Museum presented him with its Samuel Eliot Morrison Award, and the Navy League of the United States presented him with its Alfred Theamen Award for Literary Achievement. In 2012, the Naval Order of the United States awarded him its Admiral of the Navy George Dewey Award. In 2014, the Naval Historical Foundation awarded him the Commodore Dudley W. Knox Naval History Lifetime Achievement Award. In March 2016, the University of Oxford awarded Hattendorf a higher doctorate, the Doctor of Letters degree. He is an honorary corresponding member of the Massachusetts Historical Society, the Royal Swedish Society of Naval Sciences, the Académie du VAR, the Society for Nautical Research, and since 2008 an associate member of the class of Maritime History of the Portuguese Navy's Academia de Marinha. Authorship. His histories range from studies on the War of the Spanish Succession to recent naval history. He has written readers' guides to the Aubrey Maturin series of naval novels by Patrick O'Brien, as well as works on Alfred Theamen and Sir Julian Corbett. He was senior editor of the series Classics of Sea Power for the U.S.Naval Institute Press and edited the series Maritime Books, 1475 to 1800, a collection of facsimiles of rare books from the John Carter Brown Library. Hattendorf was a co-author of the Oxford Illustrated History of the Royal Navy and the Oxford Illustrated History of Modern Warfare, the latter with Richard Holmes and other authors. He contributed 22 articles to the Oxford Dictionary of National Biography and was editor-in-chief of the Oxford Encyclopedia of Maritime History, which was awarded the 2008 Dartmouth Medal. Books and monographs: The Two Beginnings, A History of St. George's Church, Tanglin, Sailors and Scholars, The Centennial History of the U.S. Naval War College, England in the War of the Spanish Succession, A Study of the English View and Conduct of Grand Strategy, 1702 to 1712. Semper Idem, A History of Trinity Church in Newport, 1698 to 2000. The Evolution of the U.S. Navy's Maritime Strategy, 1977 to 1986. Newport, The French Navy and American Independence. Collected articles and essays, Naval History and Maritime Strategy. Collected essays. Talking About Naval History, a collection of essays. Co-authored books America and the Sea, A Maritime History by Benjamin Woods Laborie, William M. Fowler, Jr., John B. Hattendorf, Jeffrey Safford, Edward W. Sloan, and Andrew Sherman. Harbors and High Seas, An Atlas and Geographical Guide to the Complete Aubrey Matury Novels of Patrick O'Brian by Dean King with John B. Hattendorf. Maps by William Clipson, Jeffrey Ward, and Adam Merton Cooper. Edited historical documents: The Writings of Stephen B. Luce, edited with a commentary by John D. Hayes and John B. Hattendorf. On His Majesty's Service. Observations of the British Home Fleet from the diary, reports, and letters of Joseph H. Wellings, Assistant U.S. Naval Attaché, London, 1940-41, edited by John B. Hattendorf. Men on Naval Strategy. Selections from the writings of Rear Admiral Alfred Theamen with an introduction by John B. Hattendorf. Editor. British Naval Documents, 1204-1960, edited by John B. Hattendorf. R.J.B. Knight, A.W.H. Pearsall, N.A.M. Roger, Geoffrey Till, St. Barthélemy and the Swedish West India Company. A selection of printed documents, 1784 to 1814. Facsimile reproductions with an introduction by John B. Hattendorf. John Robinson's Account of Sweden, 1688. The original 1688 manuscript, edited and collated with the 1693 manuscript and the published editions from 1694 with an introduction by John B. Hattendorf. Every Man Will Do His Duty, an anthology of first-hand accounts from the Age of Nelson, 1793 to 1815. Dean King with John B. Hattendorf. Maps by Adam Merton Cooper. U.S. Naval Strategy in the 1990s. Selected documents. U.S. Naval Strategy in the 1970s. Selected documents. U.S. Naval Strategy in the 1980s. Selected documents. Introductions to historical books. Charles Nordhoff, Man of War Life. A boy's experience in the United States Navy, during a voyage around the world in a ship of the line. J.C. Wiley. Military Strategy, A General Theory of Power Control. Julian Corbett. Maritime Operations in the Russo-Japanese War, 1904-1905. Introduction by D.M. Sherman and John B. Hattendorf. Tobias Gentleman. England's Way to Win Wealth, and to Employ Ships and Mariners. Delmer N.Y. Published for the John Carter Brown Library by Scholars, Facsimiles and Amp reprints. Josiah Burchett, A Complete History of the Most Remarkable Transactions at Sea. Delmer N.Y. Published for the John Carter Brown Library by Scholars, Facsimiles and Amp reprints. Joseph Conrad, The Rover, Christopher Lloyd, Lord Cochrane, Seaman, Radical, Liberator, A Life of Thomas, Lord Cochrane, 10th Earl of Dundonald. Lawrence C. Roth, The Way of a Ship, an essay in the literature of navigation science, along with some American contributions to the art of navigation, 1519 to 1802. Revised editions, edited with a foreword by John B. Hattendorf. Edited collections Maritime Strategy and the Balance of Power, Britain and America in the 20th Century, edited by John B. Hattendorf and Robert S. Jordan, foreword by Robert J. O'Neill. Limitations of Military Power. Essays presented to Professor Norman Gibbs on his 80th birthday, edited by John B. Hattendorf and Malcolm H. Murfitt. Foreword by Andrew Goodpaster, Piers Macassey and Sir Michael Pike. The Influence of History on Men. The Proceedings of a Conference marking the centenary of Alfred Mahan's The Influence of Sea Power upon History, 1660 to 1783, edited by John B. Hattendorf. Mahan is not enough. The Proceedings of a Conference on the Works of Sir Julian Corbett and Admiral Sir Herbert Richmond, edited by James Goldrick and John B. Hattendorf. UBI Summis, The State of Naval and Maritime History, edited by John B. Hattendorf. Doing Naval History. Essays Toward Improvement, edited by John B. Hattendorf. Maritime History. The Age of Discovery and the 18th Century and the Classic Age of Sail, edited by John B. Hattendorf. Naval Policy and Strategy in the Mediterranean, Past, Present and Future, edited by John B. Hattendorf. War at Sea in the Middle Ages and Renaissance, edited by John B. Hattendorf and Richard W. Unger. The Cold War at Sea. An International Appraisal. Guest editors Lyle J. Goldstein, John B. Hattendorf and Yuri M. Dukov. Journal of Strategic Studies. 19-gun salute. Case studies of operational, strategic, and diplomatic naval leadership during the 20th and early 21st centuries, edited by John B. Hattendorf and Bruce A. Ellerman. Marlborough, Soldier and Diplomat, edited by John B. Hattendorf. Augustus J. Veen and Al. Jr. and Rolf van Hovel tot Westerflyer. Proceedings of the International Sea Power Symposium. 11th International Sea Power Symposium. Report of Proceedings of the Conference, 6 to 9 October 1991, edited by John B. Hattendorf. 12th International Sea Power Symposium. Report of Proceedings of the Conference, 7 to 10 November 1993, edited by John B. Hattendorf. 13th International Sea Power Symposium. Report of Proceedings of the Conference, 5 to 8 November 1995, edited by John B. Hattendorf. 14th International Sea Power Symposium. Report of the Proceedings of the Conference, 2 to 5 November 1997, edited by John B. Hattendorf. 16th International Sea Power Symposium. Report of the Proceedings, 26 to 29 October 2003, edited by John B. Hattendorf. 17th International Sea Power Symposium. Report of the Proceedings, 19 to 23 September 2005, edited by John B. Hattendorf. 18th International Sea Power Symposium. Report of the Proceedings, 17 to 19 October 2007, edited by John B. Hattendorf with John W. Kennedy. 19th International Sea Power Symposium. Report of the Proceedings, 6 to 9 October 2009, edited by John B. Hattendorf and John W. Kennedy. 20th International Sea Power Symposium. Report of the Proceedings 19–21 October 2011, edited by John B. Hattendorf and John W. Kennedy. 21st International Sea Power Symposium. Report of the Proceedings 16–19 September 2014, edited by John B. Hattendorf and John W. Kennedy. Guides and Registers to Manuscript Collections at the Naval War College. Register of the Papers of William L. Mulland, compiled by John B. Hattendorf. Register of the Papers of Alfred T. Mahan. Register of the Papers of William McCarty Little, compiled by John B. Hattendorf. Register of the Papers of Harry Frederick Louis Heinrich Schley and Gunther Wilhelm August Schley. Register of the Papers of Admiral of the Fleet Sir James Hawkins Whitshed, GCB. Dictionaries and encyclopedias, A.C. of words, a lexicon and companion for Patrick O'Brien's Seafaring Tales by Dean King, with John B. Hattendorf and J. Worth Estes. Oxford Encyclopedia of Maritime History, John B. Hattendorf, Editor-in-Chief. 4 volumes. Bibliographies. A bibliography of the works of Alfred Thayer Mahan, compiled by John B. Hattendorf and Lynn C. Hattendorf. A bibliography of the works of Admiral Sir Herbert Richmond, and a bibliography of the works of Sir Julian Corbett in Goldrick and Hattendorf. eds. Mahan is not enough. Exhibition catalogues. The Boundless Deep. The European Conquest of the Oceans, 1450–1840, Catalogue of an Exhibition of Rare Books, Maps, Charts, Prints and Manuscripts relating to Maritime History from the John Carter Brown Library, Trafalgar and Nelson 200, Catalogue of an Exhibition of Rare Books, Maps, Charts, Prints, Models, and Signal Flags relating to events and influences of the Battle of Trafalgar and Lord Nelson. Command of the Sea. Catalogue of an Exhibition of American Naval Art from the U.S. Naval Academy Museum, the U.S. Navy Art Collection, and the U.S. Naval War College Museum, displayed at the Newport Art Museum, Newport, Rhode Island, 6 June to 12 August 2007. Faces of the Naval War College. Pictorial Histories. A Dusty Path, a pictorial history of Kenyon College. Selected essays and articles. The idea of the feat in being in historical perspective. Naval War College Review. The uses of maritime history in and for the Navy. Purpose and contribution in editing naval documents. A general appreciation.